Have you ever thought about what's inside a tiny pill? It's not just powder, it's a promise. It's a promise of health, of feeling better, of life itself. When a doctor gives you medicine or you buy it from a pharmacy, you trust that it will do exactly what it's supposed to do. You trust that it will fight an infection, lower your blood pressure, or ease your pain. This trust is the most important ingredient in any medicine. It's built on a foundation of incredible science, precision, and care. Making sure every single pill, every drop of liquid medicine, and every injection is safe and effective is one of the most important jobs in the world. It's a responsibility that affects all of us, our families, and our communities. The journey of a medicine from a laboratory idea to your medicine cabinet is long and very, very careful. It involves brilliant scientists, dedicated engineers, and meticulous quality experts. They all work together with one goal in mind: your well-being. They have to be absolutely sure that the medicine is not only powerful enough to work, but also safe enough not to cause harm. This isn't something we can leave to chance. We can't just guess that things will be okay. We have to prove it, step by step, using the amazing power of the scientific method. This process is what separates a reliable treatment from a risky gamble. It is a system of checks and balances designed to protect every single person who relies on these products. Think about it. The difference between a helpful dose and a harmful one can be incredibly small. A tiny bit too much of one ingredient, or a little too little of another, could change everything. That's why the people who make our medicines are obsessed with getting things exactly right every single time. They follow a strict set of rules and procedures, not because they have to, but because they know lives are on the line. These rules are not about slowing things down. They are about building quality and safety into every single step. It's about being proactive, not reactive. It's about preventing problems before they can ever happen. So how do they do it? How do they turn a complex chemical formula into a safe, reliable pill that you can trust? They use a powerful set of tools and concepts: calibration, verification, qualification, and validation. These might sound like complicated words, but they are really just simple ideas that help us prove that we are doing what we say we are doing. They are the building blocks of quality. In this essay, we are going to explore these essential ideas. We'll break them down, see how they work in the real world, and understand why they are the guardians of our health. Let's go. The world of pharmaceutical science is waiting. Let's start with a basic idea: measurement. Science runs on accurate measurements. In the world of medicine, it's even more critical. This is where calibration comes in. Think of it like tuning a guitar. If the guitar isn't tuned correctly, it doesn't matter how well you play. The music will sound wrong. Calibration is the process of tuning our scientific instruments to make sure they are giving us the right readings. We compare our instrument, like a scale or a thermometer, to a standard that we know is perfectly accurate. This standard is like the perfect musical note that we tune the guitar to. We adjust our instrument until its measurement matches the standard's measurement perfectly. Imagine you are baking a cake. The recipe says you need exactly 100 grams of flour. If your kitchen scale is off and you actually add 120 grams, your cake might turn out dry and crumbly. In a pharmaceutical plant, the stakes are much, much higher. They use incredibly precise scales to weigh the active ingredients for a medicine. If a scale is not calibrated, it might measure 10 milligrams of a powerful substance when it's actually dispensing 12 milligrams. This small difference could make the medicine too strong and potentially dangerous for a patient. Calibration ensures that when the formula says 10 milligrams, the scale measures and delivers exactly 10 milligrams, no more and no less. This process isn't a one-time thing. Just like a guitar can go out of tune over time, so can a scientific instrument. Temperature changes, vibrations, or just regular use can cause it to drift away from the correct measurement. That's why calibration is done on a regular schedule. Technicians will check and retune the instruments frequently, daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on how critical the instrument is. They keep detailed records of every calibration, creating a history that proves the instrument has been measuring accurately all along. This logbook is a crucial part of the quality system, providing evidence that measurements can be trusted. So, calibration is our first line of defense in making safe medicine. It applies to everything that measures: scales that weigh powders, thermometers that monitor temperature, pressure gauges that control environments, and even timers that control how long ingredients are mixed. By ensuring all these instruments are in tune with a known, trusted standard, we build a foundation of accuracy. Without accurate measurements, everything that follows would be based on faulty information. Calibration makes sure our scientific story starts on the right note, with data we can absolutely, positively trust. That's good science. Now that our instruments are perfectly tuned through calibration, we need a way to make sure they stay tuned between those official checks. This is where verification comes in. If calibration is like the deep professional tuning of a piano by an expert, verification is like the musician hitting a key before a performance to make sure it still sounds right. It's a quick, simple check to confirm that something is still operating as it should be. It's not as detailed as calibration, but it's done much more often, sometimes before every single use. It provides confidence that nothing has gone wrong since the last full calibration. Let's go back to our weighing scale in the pharmaceutical plant. It was fully calibrated by a specialist last Monday. Today is Wednesday, and an operator needs to weigh a critical ingredient. Before they start, they perform a verification. They take a special certified weight, let's say a 10-gram weight, and place it on the scale. They check the scale's display. If it reads 10 grams, or very close within a tiny pre-approved range, then great. The operator verifies that the scale is working correctly and can proceed with their work. If the reading is off, they stop immediately. They know not to use the scale until it's been checked and recalibrated. Verification is a powerful and efficient tool for maintaining quality day to day. It's a pass or fail test. Does the instrument meet the expected performance? Yes or no? This simplicity is its strength. It can be performed quickly by the user of the equipment, making it a constant part of the workflow. Think about a pH meter used to check the acidity of a liquid medicine. Before each use, the operator might dip it into 2 standard buffer solutions with known pH values, maybe one at pH 4 and one at pH 7. If the meter reads those values correctly, it's verified and ready for use. This simple check prevents an entire batch of medicine from being made with the wrong acidity. So while calibration sets the standard, verification maintains it. It's the ongoing process of checking our work in real time. It acts as a safety net, catching any small drifts or malfunctions before they can cause a big problem. This constant vigilance is key to ensuring that the accuracy established during calibration is carried through every single action, every single day. It provides the team with the confidence they need to move forward, knowing their tools are ready for the job. Verification is the simple yet vital habit of double-checking. We've calibrated our instruments and we're verifying them daily. But what about the equipment itself? How do we know that the giant, shiny stainless steel mixer we just bought is actually the right tool for our medicine? This is where qualification comes in. Qualification is the process of proving, with hard evidence, that a piece of equipment or a system is installed correctly, works correctly, and can consistently produce the result we need. It's like assembling a new bicycle. You check that you have all the right parts, installation qualification. You make sure the pedals turn and the brakes work, operational qualification. And finally, you actually ride it up a hill to see if it performs, performance qualification. Let's break down those steps. The first is installation qualification, or IQ. This is where we check that the equipment has been installed exactly according to the manufacturer's specifications and our design. Did we get the model we ordered? Is it connected to the right power source? Are all the pipes and sensors hooked up correctly? We follow a detailed checklist and document everything. For a new sterile filling machine, IQ would involve confirming that all the parts are made of the correct grade of stainless steel, that all filters are installed properly, and that it's physically located in the right clean room. It's the "did we build it right?" phase. Next comes operational qualification, or OK. Now that we know the equipment is installed correctly, we need to prove that it works as intended. We test every single function, button, and alarm. We press the start button and see if it starts. We test the emergency stop to see if it stops. For our mixer, we would test it empty. We check if we can set the mixing speed to different levels and if the timer works accurately. We would test the high temperature alarm to make sure it goes off when it's supposed to. OQ is the "does it work right?" phase, where we push all the buttons and check all the features in a controlled way without any actual product involved. Finally, we have performance qualification, or PQ. This is the ultimate test. Here, we use the equipment with the actual ingredients under real production conditions to prove that it can consistently make a product that meets all quality standards. For our mixer, we would run several batches of our medicine, using the same recipe and process we'll use for real production. We would then take samples from these batches and test them thoroughly in the lab. We need to show that every batch is identical and perfect. PQ proves that the equipment not only works, but that it works to make our specific product correctly, time after time. It's the "does it make our product right?" phase. We've calibrated our instruments, verified their performance, and qualified our equipment. Now it's time to put it all together. This is validation. Validation is the big picture. It's the documented evidence that a process, a whole series of steps, will consistently produce a product that meets its predetermined specifications and quality attributes. If a qualification is about proving a single piece of equipment works, validation is about proving that the entire recipe and manufacturing method, using all that qualified equipment, works perfectly every single time. It's the ultimate proof that our entire system, from start to finish, is under control. Think of it like directing a play. Qualification is making sure each individual actor knows their lines and that the lights and sound system work. Validation is running the entire play, from the opening curtain to the final bow, multiple times to prove that the whole performance is flawless and repeatable. For a pharmaceutical process, this means we would manufacture at least 3 full-scale successful batches of the medicine in a row. We would follow the master recipe precisely, using our qualified equipment, calibrated instruments, and trained personnel. We are proving that our process is robust and reliable. During this validation process, we collect a massive amount of data. We document every single detail, the exact weight of each raw material, the mixing time and speed, the temperature at every stage, the compression force used to make tablets, everything. We then take samples from different points in the process and at the very end. These samples are sent to the quality control laboratory for extensive testing. They check for things like the amount of active ingredient, how quickly the tablet dissolves, its purity, and its hardness. The results must all fall within very strict predefined limits for every one of the validation batches. This documented proof is then compiled into a final validation report. This report is a cornerstone document in the pharmaceutical industry. It provides the ultimate confidence to the company and to regulatory agencies like the FDA that this specific manufacturing process for this specific medicine is under control and consistently yields a safe and effective product. It's not just a one-time event either. If anything significant changes, a new supplier for a raw material, a major change to a piece of equipment, the process may need to be revalidated to prove it still works perfectly. Validation is the scientific guarantee that our promise in a pill can be kept. These 4 concepts, calibration, verification, qualification, and validation, are not separate islands. They are, in fact, a deeply interconnected system, kind of like the gears in a finely tuned watch. Each one depends on the others to function correctly. You really cannot have a validated process without using qualified equipment. And you can't have qualified equipment without using calibrated instruments to test it. The entire system is kept in a state of control through the daily practice of verification. Together, they create a powerful web of quality that ensures the medicine we rely on is made to the highest possible standard from start to finish. Let's go ahead and trace the journey of a single tablet to see how these concepts connect. It all starts with raw materials. The scale used to weigh the active ingredient must be calibrated for accuracy and verified before use. The equipment that will mix these ingredients, the blender, must have gone through IQ, OK, and PQ to prove it's installed correctly and can produce a uniform mixture for our specific formula. The tablet press machine, which compresses the powder into a pill, must also be fully qualified to ensure it makes tablets of the correct weight, thickness, and hardness every single time. Each of these qualification studies relied on calibrated tools like timers and pressure sensors to gather the data. The entire process, from weighing to mixing to compression, is then validated. This validation effort proves that when we follow this specific set of steps, using this specific qualified equipment, And these specific calibrated instruments, we consistently produce tablets that meet all quality targets. The validation report is the evidence of this harmony. Then, day after day, batch after batch, operators continue to verify the scales, check the settings on the tablet press, and monitor the process. This ongoing verification ensures that the validated state is maintained long after the initial studies are complete. This system creates a chain of evidence. If a question ever arises about a batch of medicine, investigators can go back and look at the records. They can see the calibration history of the scale, the qualification report for the mixer, the validation data for the process, and the verification checks done on the day of manufacturing. This detailed documentation provides a transparent and traceable history, proving that every step was performed correctly. It's this seamless integration of all four elements that gives us such a high degree of confidence in the final product. It's a beautiful example of the scientific method applied to manufacturing. So, what happens if we cut corners? What if a company decides that these steps are too slow or too expensive and decides to skip one? The consequences can be devastating, creating a domino effect that can lead to unsafe medicines and harm to patients. It all starts with a small failure. Let's say a company skips the regular calibration of a temperature probe in a dryer. The probe starts to read incorrectly, showing a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius when it's actually 80 degrees. The operators, trusting the instrument, think everything is fine. But at this higher temperature, a critical ingredient in the medicine starts to break down. This single failure in calibration now leads to a failure in the process. The medicine being produced no longer has the correct amount of the active ingredient. Some of it has been destroyed by the excessive heat. Because the process was validated using a properly working probe, the current conditions are now outside of that validated state, but nobody knows it. The final product that comes off the line looks perfect. The tablets are the right color, shape, and weight, but chemically, they are deficient. They are subpotent, meaning they don't have enough medicine in them to be effective. Now these subpotent tablets are packaged and shipped to pharmacies. A patient with a serious heart condition buys this medicine. They take their pill every day, trusting that it is protecting them from a heart attack. But it isn't. The medicine is too weak to have the required therapeutic effect. The patient's condition worsens, and they could end up in the hospital, or worse, because the medicine they relied on failed them. This tragic outcome all started with a single, seemingly small oversight, a skipped calibration. This is not a theoretical problem. There have been real-world cases where failures in these basic quality systems have led to massive product recalls and serious patient harm. The same domino effect can happen if any of the other steps are missed. Skipping equipment qualification could mean a mixer doesn't blend ingredients evenly, leading to some tablets having too much medicine, a toxic dose, and others having too little. Skipping process validation means a company is just guessing that their method works without any scientific proof. And ignoring daily verification means a calibrated instrument could fail, and no one would notice until an entire batch of bad product has already been made. Each step is a critical safety check. Removing even one weakens the entire system and puts public health at risk. Following these essential principles of calibration, verification, qualification, and validation isn't just about ticking boxes on a checklist or following a set of rules from a regulatory agency. It's actually about building a deep-rooted culture of quality. This culture means that every single person in the organization, from the CEO to the person cleaning the facility, understands the importance of their role in protecting the patient. It's a shared belief that quality is everyone's responsibility, and that getting it right every time is the only acceptable standard. This mindset is the invisible force that drives excellence and ensures patient safety. This culture is built on a foundation of training and empowerment. People are not just told what to do, they are taught they are doing it. An operator who understands that verifying a scale protects a patient from a dangerous dose is more likely to perform that check with care and attention. A scientist who understands that their validation work provides the ultimate guarantee of safety will be more meticulous in their documentation. When people understand the why, their work is no longer just a job. It becomes a mission. They are empowered to speak up if they see something wrong, knowing that their concerns will be taken seriously. A strong quality culture also embraces transparency and continuous improvement. It acknowledges that humans and systems aren't perfect and that mistakes can happen. However, instead of hiding mistakes, a quality-focused organization investigates them thoroughly to find the root cause. They ask, why did this happen? And how can we prevent it from ever happening again? This process turns a potential failure into a valuable learning opportunity. It leads to stronger processes, better training, and more robust systems. It's a commitment to always getting better, driven by data and a dedication to excellence. Ultimately, this culture is what sustains the entire system. You can have the best written procedures and the most advanced equipment in the world, but without a team of people dedicated to quality, it means nothing. The daily commitment to doing the small things right, the verification check, the careful documentation, the double check of a colleague's work, is what brings the concepts of calibration, qualification, and validation to life. It transforms them from abstract requirements into the living, breathing heart of a trustworthy pharmaceutical company. It's a culture that says, we care about the person who will use this medicine. We have journeyed through the very heart of what makes our medicines safe. We've seen that it's not magic, but a deliberate, rigorous, and scientific process. Calibration tunes our instruments to the key of accuracy. Verification keeps them in tune, day after day. Qualification proves that our equipment is fit for its critical purpose. And validation brings it all together, providing the ultimate scientific proof that our entire manufacturing process delivers on its promise. These are not just industry buzzwords, they are the 4 pillars that support the entire structure of pharmaceutical quality and patient safety. The importance of this system cannot be overstated. Every time you take a medicine, you are placing your trust in this invisible framework. You are trusting that the scale was calibrated, that the mixer was qualified, and that the process was validated. This trust is earned through the daily, meticulous work of thousands of dedicated professionals who apply these principles without fail. They are the guardians of our health, working behind the scenes to ensure that the product you receive is exactly what it claims to be: safe, pure, and effective. It is a profound responsibility, and one that the industry must take seriously every single moment. The path to making medicine is complex, but the reason for these steps is simple: you. It's for the child with an ear infection, the grandparent managing diabetes, the parent battling a serious illness. Skipping any of these steps is not a calculated risk, it is a guaranteed failure. It breaks the promise of the pill and gambles with people's lives. That is why regulatory bodies around the world enforce these standards so strictly, and why companies must build a culture where quality is not just a department, but the core value of the entire organization. So, the next time you see a pill or a vial of medicine, think about the incredible science and dedication that went into it. Think about the calibrated scales, the qualified machines, and the validated processes that worked in harmony to create it. It is a triumph of the scientific method, applied with a deep sense of human responsibility. By understanding and respecting these essential principles, we can all appreciate the science that works every day to keep us healthy and build a safer tomorrow for everyone. Consider the world. It's a better place because of good science.